A bit of background, who we are. So Belva Group or Belva Digital is a marketing, experience, and technology company. We are based in Nairobi. We've been around for the last 11 years. Started off as a marketing company, but I've evolved over the years to ensure that I know some of our clients are here, so delighted to be in your presence. And in terms of Infobip, you know them, they have been in your spaces for most of you here. It's a global partner. You can go to the next slide. And present in pretty much across the world, headquartered in Croatia, serving a lot of global clients as well as local clients. So we've been intentional about our local presence, from the banks to insurance to fintechs and so on. So our partnership is to ensure that we deliver local, which is you have a global partner, but you have a local expertise to ensure that the solutions that we're bringing to you are well tested and are answering the question that our customers have. So a bit of context. So last year we looked at about 400 billion interactions of customers on the Infobip platform. And the analysis of it showed that in terms of transition, where our customers interacting with us on WhatsApp, email, and voice grew by 100%. So we have more conversations on WhatsApp, voice, and email. We're seeing SMS reduce. We're seeing Messenger as well reduce. So in terms of shift, it's quite obvious that we need to be where our customers are. If you look at your frequently accessed app on your phone, I'm sure WhatsApp is there. If you look at the number of groups you are in your businesses, WhatsApp is there. As a business, have you been conscious then how then to leverage that channel to get insights, to make sure that then if you're doing employee surveys, you're getting better fulfillment, you're getting more people filling in that survey, because then you're not sending them long forms. I'm sure you've seen the registration form on that bot, how easy it is for you to fill it in, how convenient it was. We didn't send you to an email and tell you follow OTPs and other things down the road. Ideally, the experience should be as smooth as possible. Secondly, we're seeing voice growing, because again, we want to call, because sometimes that leads to quicker resolution. But are these systems integrated? If I call you and then I WhatsApp you, do you have a single view of that customer, knowing that I then interacted with you previously on voice, and then I had WhatsApp interactions with you, and then I send you whatever you required on email. So we're seeing that shift in terms of where the customers are. And then I know we've spoken, and a couple of insights shared by Walid earlier, as well as Dr. Julius, in terms of the impact of our experience we deliver in the workplace. And what is astonishing is this Gartner report that shows only 13% of our employees are satisfied with our experience in the workplace. And we said we must win the workplace to win in the marketplace. So obviously there are areas where we certainly need to improve on. And one of the things we're looking at then, how do we leverage tech and AI to enable us to create better experiences from when I come for an interview to when I'm being onboarded, or even when I get rejected for that interview, to subsequently training in my workplace, and making sure that then I'm being enabled to be a better employee. So we're going to look at it in three different phases. So looking at the challenge, and then how then we approach that challenge from a practical and technical perspective. We're seeing that customers prefer to message. Because again, allows us, middle of the meeting, but I'm ordering a handbag, or I'm ordering a shoe on WhatsApp, on Instagram. I don't want you to call me, ask me for my address. You already know, I've already sent you my address. You go to that location, deliver the shoe or the handbag. So we know the customers prefer to message. And by messaging, then as businesses, how are we then doing as much? We know employees are in WhatsApp groups. And I know, Joseph, there's a WhatsApp group where you're not there. Where they've created, you have your own one where you think all the employees are, but then they've created another one where you're not there. And there's a lot of chatter and banter happening there, because then they feel more free, right? So we're providing a platform that allows you then to be where your customers and employees are, so that then you provide an experience that is as personalized as possible. And then number two, we expect convenience. I think the generation that's come now, Gen Z, basically they're born in the digital age. They're born when, if you wanted to receive news, just go on Twitter, Facebook, and you get the news. Most of us probably born in the 80s or 70s, for those who are Zs. And if you wanted to see news, you had to watch a certain TV station or certain radio stations, and there was no two-way interaction between that. Whatever you were served is what you received. Same thing, advertisement. If you wanted to advertise, ideally you had to do a couple of things. Be creative, come up with a nice commercial, put it on TV, put a couple of billboards, go to the biggest radio station, and you probably win the marketplace. Today, the attention has obviously shifted. So for you to win the attention, for you then to win the marketplace, you must be diversified, and you must then provide the convenience. That today, if I want something, I'm not expecting to deliver 2 days away. I expect it as quickly as possible. Because then, if I'm ordering, as we say, the context of a handbag, a shoe, ideally, if you're in town, I should get it as quickly as possible. So if you're doing next day, 2 days, 3 days, then that becomes a friction point. So then the convenience, it becomes important. But also importantly is, I'm going to speak to you in multiple channels. The reality is you have a website with all the information, but I'll come to WhatsApp and ask you, are you open today? Right? And then if you don't respond to my WhatsApp, I'll go to Twitter and at you and say, is your branch open today? These are questions that are easy. You already have the FAQ. These are things that you can easily automate. But as a customer moves across different channels, from WhatsApp to Twitter to Facebook to a call, do you have a singular view of this customer? So that then when I interact with you different faces, you're not seeing Fred as Fred 1, Fred 2, Fred 3. You're seeing a singular Fred, and you can see historically, Fred had called us and raised this issue, and this is the material we have. So when you're supporting that person, you already enable, and if you can then automate some aspects, so you're asking what time is the bank opening, do you sell this insurance, are you available at this time, that is already available, and you can automate that aspect, so that then your agents are only handling the more complicated aspects of it. And then make that experience seamless, make it frictionless, remove the friction areas so that then, you're not feeling the pain point of serving, the customers are not feeling the pain point of being with you. So make sure that the experience is seamless so that then the friction is not there. And if you want to sit at the high table, we must be seen to be driving the bottom line, that the customer drives revenue. So if you can tie the dots that what the actions we're implementing are subsequently driving outcomes in the business, you're seeing better retention, you're seeing better referral, you're seeing more upsell and cross-sell, you're seeing less pain point, because then if I'm really happy customer, we know the power of referral, right? Like if I've really come to your bank, I've had a solid experience, and we had Mary talk about that, bank that collapsed. But a lot of customers, and they know a lot of us, we could relate to that bank without it being mentioned, is the reason we stuck around is because you really had a good experience. You walked in that bank, you never felt like you're in a bank, or you feel like a restaurant where happily you put some money. Unfortunately, that no longer exists today. But being in that space where you're leveraging technology and AI to deliver that seamless experience, that then ultimately the customer is so delighted that they will become your ambassador, they'll talk a lot about you, is what we want to desire. So we talk about it in these three phases, where we're saying, how do we leverage, and marketing is where the customer comes in, right? So we spend a lot of money trying to acquire the customer, to come in to buy our products or services. And secondly is how then we support them on the journey. And ultimately is then how do we drive revenue? So those are the three phases we're looking at. One is in the marketing side is how do we then unify the different channels we're spending on marketing, from your socials to your emails, to your SMS even. I know your SMS nowadays go with a link to somewhere, or sometimes with a promo code. How do you unify that experience so that then you're able to know, where your customers are coming from, and then you're able to delight them at that price point, touch point. And we know Kenyans, again, as we've heard, will ask you, even the price. You put the price there, it's 2,000 shillings, but they still ask you what's the price. So that you'd reduce that friction is you can automate those things. What's the price of this? The bot can answer such things. Can you deliver to this area? Yes, you can deliver, or no, we cannot deliver. So that's where the marketing comes in. And then we know support. On the support side is, AI always has to work with a human touch. AI will do some heavy lifting to allow our agents to be more productive. So if we can infuse AI to our agents, For example, the same people we've seen in a lot of structure for support. You have teams that handle calls and you have teams that handle social media. Ideally, that creates friction because the customer remains the same. So if you can enable the same team to have one interface or one technology platform that then allows them to handle customers at whatever phase they're coming in or whatever channel. So if the person handling calls is not handling a call at that time, our technology will tell, say this agent is not on the phone. They have the bandwidth to respond to this customer on WhatsApp. They have the bandwidth to respond to this customer on email. And then you're able to see, you have 10 agents. This is what they're handling now. This is the outcome. This is the response time, the response rate. You're able to measure productivity that then creates that culture. Because if technology inspires the culture of transparency, accountability, then ultimately the customer wins. Because the employee is enabled, they're able to serve the customer better, you have transparency, you can see what they're doing. Ultimately, then the customer is delighted, as opposed to having a technology for calls and then having something else for emails and then something else for WhatsApp and then something else for TikTok, and we never know what comes next year or tomorrow. So seek to have a unified experience then that delights ultimately the customer and seeks to deliver the better productivity for your outcome. Again, ultimately we said all this should lead to commerce. At the end of the day, we're in commercial businesses for most of us, I believe, where revenue must be, revenue is where the bottom line is. So we seek to enable then our employees, our customers to seamlessly transact with us. A lot of banking customers here, NCBA, UBA, you name them, you have bots. All of you have launched WhatsApp bots and Messenger bots, and they are all ultimately allowing even us to move money from M-Pesa to a bank account to other options. So that simplicity is important. You've seen e-commerce where people are able then to do the same thing, loans, insurance, and so all the different use cases. Even Kenya Power, I should be able to pay my bill on WhatsApp, right? Because then it's a channel we all use. How do I enable that simplicity of being able to settle my utility, integrate with M-Pesa, get an SDK push, put your PIN, paid. As simple as that, right? Remove the steps and the friction. So in conclusion, what we're saying is we know the customer is ultimate king, but also importantly is that what we're trying to achieve today, the customer journey is no longer a funnel. They will not just know you, go to the supermarket and buy you. They've got a lot of options at the consideration phase. And that's why back in the day, every toothpaste was Colgate, because we were so brand obsessed. Today's customer is not loyal to you. They're loyal to themselves. So for that reason, you have to create an infinite loop where you're constantly present, but you also as a business, as a brand, you have a one singular view of your customer across the different interfaces, across the different phases they are in, whether they're just learning about you, or they bought from you, or just referred a friend. You just remove friction. And that's why we come in and say, that's the magic of technology, that's the magic of AI, that's the magic of Belva and Infobip, to ensure that then you create a unified experience. So you leave here knowing that you can offer your customer, you're enabled, and you've enabled your employees and the internal organization to deliver a better experience.